You meet him at an open house on a Saturday. Marcus, his name tag says, though he introduces himself before you can read it. Firm handshake, easy smile, the kind of confidence that makes you assume he knows something you don't. He probably does. Just not the thing you think. This one won't last, he says, gesturing at the kitchen like it's a museum piece. Multiple offers already. You don't know if that's true. Neither does he, most of the time. It's not really a lie. It's a script, refined over hundreds of open houses, designed to do one thing: move you from looking to deciding, faster than you would on your own. You buy the house. $650,000. At closing, you see the number on the settlement statement, small, tucked between line items you don't fully understand. Commission, 6%. $39,000, split between two brokers, most of it landing in Marcus's account for a transaction that took him, by his own account later at a dinner party, maybe 15 real hours of work. The first rule: the fee was never about the hours. It was about the number on the house, and the number on the house was never really his idea to negotiate down. You meet Denise, the seller, only once, briefly, at the final walkthrough. She seems nice. Tired, mostly. She tells you, almost apologetically, that she wanted to list it herself online first, save the commission, but her broker, a woman named Carol, told her the exposure wasn't worth losing. You'll net less without me, Carol told her, trust me. Denise didn't run the math herself. She trusted the person whose income depended on her not running it. Carol wasn't lying, exactly. Some homes do sell for more with representation. But Carol never mentioned the version where Denise interviews 3 brokers and negotiates the commission down to 4%, a completely normal request almost nobody makes because almost nobody knows it's normal to ask. The second rule: the commission was never fixed. It was just never questioned, and an unquestioned number behaves exactly like a fixed one. You ask Marcus, months later, over coffee, why he pushed you toward that particular house so hard. He laughs, more honest than he probably means to be. Higher price, higher commission. Not gonna lie to you now that the deal's closed. You appreciate the honesty. You also realize it arrived only after the check cleared, which tells you something about when honesty becomes convenient. You think about the inspector, a quiet man named Frank who flagged a cracked foundation seam during your walkthrough. Marcus stood beside you the entire time, downplaying it before Frank had even finished his sentence. Cosmetic, mostly. Common in homes this age. Frank didn't argue. Frank gets referred business by agents like Marcus, and agents like Marcus don't refer inspectors who kill deals. Frank's paycheck and Marcus's paycheck were pointed in the exact same direction that day, and neither of them was pointed toward you. The third rule: everyone in the room is getting paid by the transaction happening, not by it happening correctly. That alignment is invisible until you go looking for it. You compare notes later with a coworker, Priya, who bought a condo the same year using a flat fee broker, a woman who charged $3,000 total instead of a percentage. She actually tried to talk me out of overbidding, Priya tells you. Wildest thing. A real estate agent, telling me not to spend more. You ask why that felt so unusual. Priya just shrugs. Because it was. You start noticing the language differently after that. Motivated seller doesn't mean what you thought. Sometimes it means someone underwater on their mortgage, ready to accept less than the home is worth, information that helps the buyer's agent negotiate hard, if their commission structure didn't quietly discourage negotiating at all. A buyer's agent earning a percentage of the final price has a mathematical reason to want that price higher, not lower, even while sitting across the table claiming to represent your interests exclusively. The fourth rule, representing you and being paid more when the price goes up, are 2 incentives sitting inside the same person, and only one of them is written into the contract you signed. You run the numbers, finally, the way nobody suggested you should before closing. On a $650,000 sale, a 6% commission is $39,000. A 4% commission, the kind Denise never knew to ask for, would have been $26,000. The difference, $13,000, split between what Denise could have kept and what you might have negotiated down, didn't disappear into thin air. It moved, quietly, from two people who never met each other's interests into two people who very much shared the exact same interest that day, closing the deal at the highest defensible number, as fast as possible. You don't think Marcus is a villain. He never lied outright. He never broke a rule written anywhere. He just operated, expertly, inside a system where his best financial outcome and your best financial outcome pointed in almost opposite directions, and nobody in the room was required to say that part out loud. Somewhere right now, someone is walking through an open house on a Saturday, meeting an agent with a firm handshake and an easy smile, being told this one won't last. They don't know yet what percentage they're agreeing to before they've even seen the contract. Nobody explains it at the open house. Nobody explains it is negotiable either. They'll find out at closing, the way you did, staring at a number tucked between line items, wondering when exactly they agreed to that. You didn't get scammed. Nothing about it was illegal. You just never asked the one question that would have changed the math, not is this a good house, but whose interest does this number actually serve? Nobody was going to ask it for you. That was always going to be your job, and nobody told you the job existed until the check had already cleared.